I'm just a jungle soldier fighting to keep the jungle alive. I'm just a jungle soldier fighting to keep the jungle alive. I'm just a jungle soldier fighting. I'm just a jungle soldier fighting to keep the jungle alive. I'm just a jungle soldier fighting to keep the jungle alive. I'm just a jungle soldier fighting to keep the jungle alive. I'm just a jungle soldier.
Yeah, man, I'm so proud of them, man. I'm proud of them. Pull up the pictures of the boys. They're done good.
Fighting to keep the jungle alive.
They done all right. They done well, man. Honestly.
Just a jungle soldier fighting to keep the jungle alive.
Yeah.
Just a jungle soldier fighting to keep the jungle alive. Just a jungle soldier.
They done that, you know. You know, character, because I'm quite, a little bit, I'm kind of funny with the people that I like as sportsmen. You know, I like my sportsmen to be really, really clean. Like, for an example, I like Federer. We'll get the picture up. He's the you know, he's the tennis player. Yeah. I like Roger Federer because of I never see him. I mean, I don't know the guy, but you know his character, the way how you know you had McEnroe, you had Boris Becker. I used to love Boris Becker. Agassi. I'll tell you another guy's a great player, and it's only because he came. I kind of like Federer. Nadal. He's another one. Djokovic, what a player! What a player! He obviously had Arthur Ashe, but you see, I'm not going for Arthur Ashe because it's really bad what happened to Arthur Ashe. That's another story. But you had Nadal, and boy, Nadal, I've got to take my hat off that. What a player. You know, but Roger Federer, always stood out. I tell you. So talking about character, yeah. Right, talking about a character. Yeah, man. Yeah, honestly. Yeah. You know, Harry Kane must get a knighthood. Must get a knighthood. Local boy. And I've never seen Harry Kane in the papers, yeah, doing things, right? And I admire that, because when it comes to a sports person, right, you got to be like kind of a distinguished gentleman or a distinguished female, yeah, right. There's a couple of them girls that I like for the Lionesses. She's from Liverpool. I really like her. I like her. But Harry Kane, man, you know, Harry Kane. You know, I love Diego Maradona. You know, and that's kind of what I mean. He's the wild kind of wild kind of living, and you know what I'm saying. I adored Maradona. Do you know what I mean? I adore him. You know what I mean? There's quite a few players, you know. Pele, obviously, and Jimmy Greaves. Jimmy Greaves, another one. Jimmy Greaves. Spoke to my dad, and I was saying to my dad that Harry Kane, is the best ever. And my dad, you're never too old to learn, and I may not agree with everything that my dad says. You know what I mean? Right? But when he mentioned this guy here, yeah, right. I'm honestly, right. Let me put this man's picture up here, yeah. Let me tell you something. Right? My old boy, my old man, right? He said, right? He said, Jimmy Greaves came second to Pele when he was playing. And honestly, Jimmy Greaves, right? You had man like Lineker. He's another dangerous player. Gary Lineker, and Gary Lineker done. He done really well with. He really surprised me. Gary Lineker, growing up, always eyes. What a goal hanger! But one thing about Gary Lineker, there was nothing that escaped him. So a moment of silence for everyone that's lost someone and stuff like that. I mean, Jimmy Greaves, he passed away, and that. But I'm just gonna have a little moment of silence. you had Jimmy Greaves, but you see, Jimmy Greaves, like a lot of sports people, especially in the in football, you know, Jimmy Greaves and the drink, you know. Okay, but I won't focus on the drink because one thing admirable about Jimmy Greaves, he used to have Saint and Greavesy, yeah. You know, right? There's a lot. There may be few people, you know, will have some ill things to say, but one thing to say about Jimmy Greaves, he had his wife, yeah, he had his wife, and there is a story. If I'm wrong, I apologize. Right, so I'm not sure if his wife is still here, Mrs. Greaves, but Jimmy Greaves, with you know the married for a long time to the woman, yeah, right, and I think Jimmy Greaves lost a child, and Jimmy Greaves started the heavy drinking, but the heavy drinking in football, right? We put another guy up, right? We put up another guy, right? There's a lot of them, right? Now, Paul McGrath, yeah. So when you know, Paul McGrath, I think when Paul McGrath was playing for Manchester United, you had man like Bobby Robson, the great Bobby Robson, right? And they said when Bobby Robson, when they said that he had enough, I mean drinking, yeah, drinking mean alcohol, right? When he was drinking is when he fell off the bar stool, yeah, right. And there's a person there, Paul McGrath. He never fell off. He never fell off the bar stool. Heavy drinking, man. Heavy drinking. Right? Okay. I'm gonna. So when you're speaking about character and you know, I gotta go for. There's no doubt. Honestly, there's no doubt. Right? If you know about football, right? Honestly, let me tell you something. Right? I don't know if the footballers look. I don't know what kind of time frame they look at or whatever. But I'm telling you, George Best, man. And honestly, the way, you know, when you play football or you play any sports, some people are so gifted. They're gifted, man. They're gifted. And with a name like that, George Best, B-E-S-T, the surname. And there's a picture of George Best, right? Let me see if I can get it up as a little kid. Yeah? As a baby. Right? They've got a picture of him as a baby, right? With a football. Right? Let's see if I can find it. Right? If you ever see this picture, and as a sports person, right, you will you can see that. Right? All right, 1 second there, right? So his baby picture, yeah? Baby photo. Yeah? Look at this. Now, I'm not joking. You see that picture there, right? Now look how small George Best was. Aged 2 years old. Look at the balance. Look at the balance on the ute. You just know. You know. Look at the third picture along in the middle. Look at the ute. So some people are you know, you know, they're gifted. You're gifted, right? Hold on. Oh, you see, when you're doing, I'm always doing that. Excuse me, sorry. I forget to plug in my laptop, right? So George Best, Irish, yeah, Irish as well. But his surname, yeah, says it all, and this picture. So we got to have there's a lot of moment of silence. This one, you know, there's a lot of moment of silence because I don't know who gave George Best the liver. Yeah, George Best the liver. Remember George Best? He dating Miss Worlds at the time. Miss Worlds. Yeah. And when it comes to the drinking, he's a top shelf man. He's a top shelf man, you see. He's a top shelf man. And it's a very dangerous thing. And you know, alcohol, to be fair, as much as they talk about drugs and guns and cars and, you know, food, the alcohol, you know what I mean, honestly, is, you know, we're gonna go into it. We're gonna go into it. And look at the little lad. So you have a little baby, right? And you know, you're a dad and you got your football there, and you know, as a dad, you know, if you're growing up, if you know, you have your son, you know, it's like it's a really joyful moment. You know, you got, it's like you got a miniature version of yourself, you know, and I presume you would wish, not all. I've, you know, things happen, yeah, but you would want your child to have a better life than yourself. But imagine you have your child, and now some people are gifted, you know. People have a gift, right? People have a gift, you know. You have a gift, and you know, it's kind of you're trying to channel that kind of energy, yeah. But imagine you put something a round thing down, yeah. You put something round on the floor, or you put, I mean, I'm gonna go into the other person. You know where I'm going, yeah, right? Now look at George Best right in the middle there, right? Look at the ball control. And it's something George Best had throughout his whole career. The Weeping Rabbi was at Paddington Station and he saw George Best running for the Bakerloo line. And he was trying to explain what it was, what he was looking at, because George Best is running. And I've seen footage of George Best, right? And I said to him, he glides. And he's, yeah. See, George Best, I text me there. Yeah, George Best texting me, Mike. You know what I mean? Right? You hear the noise? That was my phone. I ain't gonna look at it yet. Well, was it 10:30? Yeah. And you know, there's there's a lot of respect. You know what I mean? I mean, George Best. I mean, honestly, right? So, let me give a moment of silence for George Best. I'm gonna go into my other picture because I've got my washing on. Give me a second. I'm gonna go take my washing out and check this text. Oh, I don't know who that is. I'm not interested. Right. You have George Best, yeah? And right. Hold on. I bet I haven't put it up so you can't see it. Oh no, I'm gonna have to redo it all over again, man. You know what? Have a look at the pictures. Oh, honestly. Let me share it, man. The car. This is what I was showing you. Oh. Yeah. That's George Best on the football, yeah. And then we had okay. Oh, I'm still okay. I'm still right. Right. So look, man. I pressed the wrong button, man. Right. I'm telling you. Right. So look. Give me a second. Then let me put up George Best. Yeah. Right. Start again because I had Paul McGrath up there. Yeah. So we'll go back. See. Let me see if you can see that because no, you can't. You see, same thing again. There you go. I'm not. No, it's honestly, when you're talking about um people gifted, man. Um, George Best. Yeah, George Best. But after George Best, right? At the same time, yeah, we'll share this one. Now, for me, George Best was like a is there it's like there's a spirit or there is like a reoccurring theme. Yeah, I don't know whether or not people adopt it or it's like a reincarnation in a different way. Yeah. Okay. Right. Like for an example, I always say Denzel Washington is like a new Sidney Poitier. My favorite player it was Diego Maradona. It was, and another. We have to do a little silence for Diego, man. Things about respect, you know what I mean? It's not about anything else, man. You got no respect, then what could you have? If you ain't got no respect, what you know? What are you about? Yeah, Diego Maradona. Yeah, Diego Maradona. And boy, I tell you, man, it's very sad. In you know, when you see gifted people just destroy themselves, and I'm talking as I'm talking, me I destroy myself. It's true. It's terrible, man. So like addiction and all that, yeah, it's not something, you know. I think that those things is more mental health, and you know. And look, Diego Maradona. Oh man, poverty, man. Ain't no joke. Poverty, playing football with anything you can find, you know. Is you have ingenuity, yeah. In Jamaica, you may call it being crafty. In England, is a different, you know. Crafty means you're being crafty, but to be honest, it means the same thing, yeah. Right? If you know you make something out of nothing. Now, I had best up. I had what I'll do after the show, I'll go back and right, I'll go back and okay, so look, you know, you have man like Pele. Yeah, I'm not sure who Gianna Maradona is. Diego Sinagra, no. Ronaldo, he's another one. Ronaldo, he's another one. And then you could say Ronaldo was another. You would have said like a Jairzinho or who else you had? Garica, is it Garica? Garica. I mean, you've had so many greats, yeah, in football. Let me show you another. I mean, honestly, it's so sad. It's so sad to see. Now, there is a lack of character, right? There's a lack of character with Harry Kane. I can see, you know, a lack of character. But one thing I admire, and I say Harry Kane will be knighted, right? And he deserves whatever he gets. And for me, he's become like a sporting hero. He's a sporting hero. He's a sporting hero. Now, Paul Gascoigne. Now, honestly, man, Paul Gascoigne. Well, apart from the dentist chair, I mean, honestly, have you seen that picture of Teddy Sheringham and all that? They got the dentist chair. After Paul Gascoigne, after what happened to Paul Gascoigne, there was a full stop. They put an end to that kind of lifestyle. They said never again. They said never again will we allow someone to destroy themselves like that. Paul Gascoigne was extraordinary. Was extraordinary. Shout out to Paul Gascoigne. And Paul Gascoigne, no, I love my Newcastle people, you know. I love my Geordies. I loving. Hey, listen, I love the English, you know, the English people. Yeah, you know, all the ones that I met them nice. They may have their different views, and that's fair play. But you know, I'm very fond of the North. Very fond. I'm very fond of them. Very fond. Yeah. Now, Paul Gascoigne, they put a stop to it. they put a stop. A full stop was made after Paul Gascoigne, because Paul Gascoigne, you know, there's nothing with a football. Excuse me. Right, that Paul Gascoigne couldn't do, and he also had that character. Paul Gascoigne is the sort of man that would just light up the room, like myself. But the influence, right, it destroyed him. I don't know. I mean, honestly, every day I think, oh, I just don't want to, because I love Paul Gascoigne so much like that. In connect with football. Right, and growing up watching Paul Gascoigne, man. Okay, and the man has a character. He's got a character about him. Man will light up any room. And I mean, honestly, so gifted. But they put a stop to that. They put a stop to that kind of behavior. And rightfully so. Now, what you got now is like they do seem to be a bit robotic, there is a sense of like them is a robot, like there is a robot. But unfortunately, things, you can't have everything, and you must. There's always sacrifices, and they have to sacrifice the lovely character that we all like, and because truly, they put a full stop. If you look at football in England, in English history, and tell me if I'm wrong. Right? Tell me if I'm wrong. That's what I was trying to show to my dad. Yeah? They put a full stop behind Paul Gascoigne. I said never again. Right? I said never again. Okay. They'll never let these lads here, right? They'll never let them do that to themselves. And rightfully so. Although you kind of haven't got that kind of, they seem to be quite robotic. Yeah. Right. I mean, they're very dull. For me, very, and honestly, that's. Can you imagine that kind of? Look at that statement I've just said. What do you mean they're dull? They're looking after themselves. They're not on the heavy drink. Right? The drugs. Well, they may. I think they were doing the balloons, and they do their thing, but you can't compare the squad, right? And Harry Kane, honestly, Harry Kane, man, yeah, he for me, he's like, if you've got children in sport, this is like a sports ambassador. This is someone you look up to, like Roger Federer. Roger Federer is another one that stands out to me. Roger Federer, yeah, among all the greats, Nadal, Djokovic, Ibrahim, the guy that used to, the really tall guy that used to really, the serve on him, yeah. So Harry Kane deserves the knighthood. Without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah. Without a shadow of a doubt. Harry Kane. Right? It must be a sports ambassador for the young children coming up. Right? As much as I love the badness. Yeah. Why? Where do I start? You must knight Bellingham. You must knight him. You must. You know what I mean? No shall ever doubt. Jude Bellingham. When I heard Jude Bellingham was not going to be in the squad, I said, "What is going on?" No matter. No, you got to overlook that. You got to overlook that. What if he comes into training, picks his nose, picks his bum, yeah, right? Starts playing with other players' bum, whatever he does, right? Look, you just look the other way. Is Jude Bellingham? No, you can't not have Jude Bellingham in the squad. Now, there's one guy, and he must be knighted. He must be knighted. They must knight Jude Bellingham and Harry Kane. And to be fair, I've never heard anything bad about Jude Bellingham. So Jude Bellingham will also be a sports ambassador. It's a sports ambassador. Look at the young man. Right? He must be a sports ambassador for the future. Yeah, because unfortunately, the lifestyle that many great footballers had, right? And I mean, heavy drinking, and drugs and all kind of thing. Is it Tony Adams? I mean, he got the great Tony Adams, you know what I mean? And Tony Adams, a shot of whiskey and 1 pint, yeah? Just down it, and then maybe 5-10 minutes later, you see him running out on the pitch. Yeah. Okay. So Bellingham, he's another guy. Yeah. Bellingham, right? Now, I didn't like. Not that I didn't like Pickford. I just thought Pickford was quite he's physical, And then when I saw Pickford at the goalkeeper, Pickford, I see him on doing an interview, and I changed my mind. Because one of the goalkeepers I liked, and I said, right, if England, because I always think to myself, England has never really looked at the goalkeeper. You had Seaman, you had the great Gordon Branks, Peter Shilton, many great goalkeepers. But I think that was a part where I think we're kind of lacking. It's not that we're lacking as a keeper, but it's the size. Now, Peter Schmeichel for Man United, he for me was the kind of that's the kind of person you're kind of looking for. It's not that you're looking for Peter Schmeichel, yeah. It's the size of him, right? Peter Schmeichel, right? The great goalkeeper, Peter Schmeichel. Yeah, so that's the only thing with that. But that said, I'm really they done good, man. They done good, and they should be proud of themselves. And People should be proud of what happened. Yeah, right. Be proud. You know, you gotta be proud of what they are. You know, got to the semi-finals. Yeah. Okay, they could have been knocked out in the group stages. They went to the Azteca Stadium. They beat Mexico. Didn't think they would have done that. So they beat Mexico, yeah, on their home turf, right? Now, I don't know. I'm gonna say something really controversial now, yeah. Right? Honestly. Again, we're talking about like a spirit or a kind of a player, yeah, a player, yeah. And when I look at Lionel Messi, now I personally believe that Lionel Messi is Jewish. I'm sorry. And I said to the weeping rabbi, and he said, "Well, his name is Lionel." And I said, "No, you know what I mean? Okay, he's from Jewish heritage, yeah." I don't know, but going kind of off topic, there is a book out about great Jewish footballers, because when the Führer came along, there was many great footballers that disappeared. Okay, disappeared. Great footballers. But there's no shadow of a doubt that Lionel Messi is man, honestly, he's great. He's great. The ball control. And then when I look at him, I kind of see Maradona. I kind of see Diego Maradona. Yeah. I kind of see Diego Maradona in Lionel Messi. Yeah. For some reason, I don't know what it is. Yeah. I said, I see comparisons. Yeah. Right. Right. I see comparisons. Right. With for myself. But look there. You see? Look right. You know what? You know, look right there. Isn't that Maradona and Messi right there? I think Lionel Messi is Jewish. Well, like a lot of people, a lot of people are they may not know themselves, but especially places like Argentina. Well, look at Diego Maradona's face and look at Lionel Messi. Do they look like they're from the same country? Like or they're all kind of like native Indian kind of, you know what I mean? Like your Aztec kind of people, you know, your Incas, your Mayans. Diego Maradona look, I've got that look, kind of that. And then you look at Lionel Messi, you think, oh, you know, is that the Spanish? Okay, and then even the Spanish, you can see that the Jewish dissolved into the Spanish, even though they had the they had their purge. So what they do, just change their name. They change their name. They assimilate. That's another topic. Diego Maradona, Lionel Messi. I mean, honestly, you got to give a man a credit there. You got to give man credit. You know, when it's due. You know, you're talking about excellency. You know, when people are excellent, at something. You know, people are just excellent. People are just gifted. Yeah. All right. And if you notice, there's the 4 clubs. Yeah. So you got France, England, Argentina, and Spain. So you have the 3 of the empires there, you know. Before the English was the Spanish. You had the Spanish Armada. Jamaica was Spanish before they were English. And when the English took over in Jamaica, the slaves were crying for their Spanish masters. That's how bad the English were. That's how terrible it was to the people of Jamaica. But I'm not saying that's all English people. You know what I mean? There weren't no, I mean, you had the conquistadors, right? Yeah. Man like Francis Drake. There weren't no joke man them. You had your Portuguese, your Dutch, and the French as well. It's not, you know, you got man like Napoleon Bonaparte. No joke people, those. No, we're not, you know, we're not talking about no diplomat. There is no diplomat. Right? These people are, you know, they're military. They're military people. Yeah. So Lionel Messi, you boy, honestly, Stuart Pearce, another great player, Stuart Pearce, and hard. And when you look at his the thighs on him, go, man, strong thighs. But I think I was listening to Talk Sport. I don't watch TV. I only listen to radio. And I was listening to Talk Sport, and Stuart Pearce said, all you have to do is just stand in the box, and Lionel Messi will put the ball on your head or on your foot, and it will go in the goal. You know, he's excellent. He's excellent, man. He's excellent. And then I see a lot of comparisons with Diego Maradona, a clean version. That's what you've got here. You've got a player, right? And he must be an ambassador. Yeah? Okay? These people must be made ambassadors of the sport. Okay? Because no matter how much I may like the character or the womanizing, the drinking, the drug taking, the money spending, the lavish lifestyle and stuff like that. No. When it comes to you, a sports person, yeah, right? When it comes to sports person, the person, just like the leaders, just like a leader, yeah, just like a leader. He gotta be squeaky clean to get my respect. Yeah. So Roger Federer is another, great ambassador. These people must be made ambassadors of the sports. Yeah. Right. So you got your free. You got your French Empire. You got your Spain. You had England, and then you have Argentina. So Argentina, they put up a flag, right, about the Falklands, yeah? Right? Right? So it's a little distasteful, but what it is, it's just a reminder it's a reminder that not like my people, not like my people who just forget everything. Forget everything. The people don't forget nothing. They don't forget, and you can't really I would never say, oh, you mustn't. No, they do what they're doing. I'm not going to agree or disagree. Yeah. So now if Argentina is saying to England that the Falklands is theirs, what are they going to say to Spain? What are they going to say to the Spanish? Yeah. So for me, proud of the proud of the lads, man. I'm proud of them. In kind of, to me, whoever wins the World Cup, they win it. But you've earned my respect. You've earned my respect, and I salute them all. I salute all of them. I think they they did what they done. And they done well. They done well. So they had Croatia, and you had the great I tell you, he's another great. Because there's a lot of good players. I mean, Ronaldinho is another player that I think he doesn't really get the recognition that yeah, right, doesn't get the recognition. Honestly, what I see that man do with a football, I think nah, but you got a player here, you got to respect Luka Modric. He's a great player, Luka Modric. And remember, England played against Panama as well. They had some good players. Yeah, Panama, they done, and then you had Ghana. Yeah, Ghana had some, there's some great, it was a great game. So for this group, and then score, they had Ghana. Yeah, Ghana's national team. Right. See if we can, I want to get off this page. Let me put that in another tab. The Ghana's national team. So the African nations as well. They're improving. Right? They're improving. They're very active. Very active. They bring the African spirit with them. And it'll only be a matter of time until an African nation. Yeah, you got your North Africans as well doing very well. I mean, you had Egypt. Yeah, you had Egypt. There's the great Asamoah Gyan. He's another great one. But I think Ghana had the youngest team in the World Cup. You had the man from Cape Verde. He was the oldest, the goalkeeper. So, you give you give respect, for the Ghanaians. They that, the young, being a young team, you gotta give give them the little praises, right? So the last game, yeah, obviously there's some mistakes happened, yeah, mistakes. People are going to criticize you in it, especially football. It's very unfair. People criticize. It is what it is. Yeah, mistakes are made, right? But it could have been a big thumping. Could have been a big thumping, but that's not bad. A 2-1 score. It does show that they were trying. I did have problems with the England squad. They weren't as spontaneous enough. Yeah, they weren't spontaneous enough, right? For me, right? Weren't spontaneous enough. That said, right? Oops. Oh, jeez. I don't want that. Okay, so now that's a sign for me to say, you know what? You have to give up now. Well, no. Right? Okay, let me go back there. Right? I have to get my new laptop out because this one seems to is packing up. So yeah. Now the guy, I think this could have been I don't know why they didn't have this gentleman here. Right? I don't know why he's left out the squad. Why? The man could be, listen, yeah? What, Trent Alexander-Arnold. He'd have been great in it. There's another one. Yeah? You got this one here. Yeah? Why? You understand? I'm a jungle soldier, man. So yeah, big up, man. The UK, the England football team. Yeah, I'm proud of you. Maybe no one else is proud, but hey, it is what it is. You know what I mean? I'm not, but could have had Carl Palmer in there. JTV every time, man.